See today's delicious and quick and easy chicken rice made in a pressure cooker. Now here I've taken 250 grams of boneless chicken breast and cut it up into small cubes. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder, and I'm going to add salt to taste, roughly about 2 teaspoons. And I'm going to mix everything really well together and just set it aside for marination for about 15 minutes. This is an ideal weekend lunch idea. Now we're going to make the masala paste. So I've taken 3 green chilies. Then I've added about 7 dried red chilies, 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste, or otherwise 4 cloves of garlic and 1 inch of ginger made to a paste, 1 tablespoon of coriander powder or dhania powder, 1 cup of fresh coriander leaves, two tablespoons of water, and we're going to grind this to a nice paste. This is going to be our masala paste for the rice. So this is the paste. I'm just transferred it to a small bowl. So now I've taken my pressure pan and I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of ghee. Then I'm going to add about 6 cloves or lavang, half an inch of cinnamon or dalchini, 10 peppercorns or miri, and 1 cardamom or elaichi, and 1 bay leaf. Next I'm going to add 4 onions that I've sliced really fine. Lengthwise, and I'm going to fry the onions really well till they turn nice and dark golden brown in color. So this should take you approximately about 7 minutes. They should look like this. Now I'm going to add 2 tomatoes that I've just chopped roughly. Mix all of this really well together. Let the tomatoes become nice and mushy. Now I'm going to add this masala paste that we just ground in the mixer jar. Just add that. Mix everything really nicely together. Next we're going to add the chicken that we marinated for about 10 to 15 minutes with turmeric powder, red chili powder and salt. Mix the masala in well with the chicken. Now I'm just going to add about 1 cup of chopped up fresh coriander leaves. Mix all that together. And I'm going to add 1 cup of coconut milk. I'm using the packet milk. You can also use fresh coconut and make 1 cup of coconut milk. Just mix everything together. You can add a little more salt if you want, about say half a teaspoon. And now just cover it and cook it for about 5 minutes till the chicken is a little bit cooked. And now we're going to add 1 cup of rice that I washed and soaked for about 10 to 15 minutes, drained all the water. I'm going to add the rice. And now we're just going to close the pressure pan and let it cook for 1 whistle on high and simmer for 10 minutes on a low flame, and then just let the cooker come to room temperature, and that's your chicken rice all ready. It's super delicious and really quick and easy to prepare. You can have this with some lovely chilled yogurt and some chopped onions and lemon at the side. So do give this recipe a try, guys. It's really a must try from green chutney for this recipe. So here I've just taken about 3 light green chilies. I've taken an inch of ginger and about 2 cloves of garlic and some fresh coriander which I've washed thoroughly. Now I'm going to add all of this to my blender and a little bit of salt to taste. And I'm going to grind this to a thick paste. Now we're not going to add any water at all. We want a very thick paste and not a runny and liquidy paste. And then for that extra flavor and to retain the beautiful green color, I'm just going to squeeze half a lemon. And that's our chutney for this recipe. So I'm just going to transfer this to a bowl. And we have our chutney ready for today's recipe. Now the next thing is to prep the eggs. So I'm just working with 2 eggs. So I'm going to add the eggs to some water, and I'm going to bring this to a boil. And once the water begins to boil, I'm going to lower the flame and put a timer of 10 minutes and boil it for exactly 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'm going to switch off the heat and just cover the pot and keep it aside till it cools down completely to room temperature. Then I'm going to peel the eggs once the eggs are nice and cool and you can handle them. Then I'm going to refrigerate the eggs, and then I'm going to peel them because it works much easier when they're peeled. When they're cool, and then I'm going to cut them up into halves. So that's how the eggs have to be prepped. And now let's start with today's egg chutney chops recipe, which is super, super simple and really, really very delicious. Now I've also boiled some potatoes. All I've done is I've taken 4 medium-sized potatoes, put them in a pressure pan, boiled them on a high whistle, on one whistle on high, and then simmered for 10 minutes and then completely cooled down the potatoes. This is the potatoes, and I have just smashed them up. This is half an onion which I've chopped fine. This is some breadcrumbs which I'm going to use. This is some chaat masala, about a teaspoon of chaat masala, some pepper powder, a little bit of corn flour and water, which we're going to make a slurry with. Now all ingredients with their exact measurements are going to be in the description box below. Now you could also use one egg, beaten egg in place of this corn flour. But the corn flour adds a lovely, nice, crispy, texture to this egg chop. But you can use one egg, beaten egg too, in place of this corn flour slurry. So now I'm going to prepare the potato covering for the egg chop. So my potatoes are very nice and cooled down completely to room temperature. And now I'm going to add my pepper powder, some chaat masala. I'm also going to add some salt to taste. And I'm going to add my finely chopped onion. Now I'm going to mix everything well. What the onion does is it gives a lovely crunch to this egg chop, and it really adds that extra, it just elevates the dish to another level by adding this onion. So now let's assemble our egg chop. So first I'm going to take a lime size ball of the potatoes, and I'm going to flatten it out on the palm of my hand like this. Make it completely flat. Spread it out as much as you can. So now I'm going to add a layer of this chutney. Now the chutney has to be dry, it shouldn't be watery. That's why we've not added any water while grinding the chutney. Then I'm going to put the egg with the yolk side down, and then I'm going to cover it up with the potato filling as much as I can on one side, and then you can use a little more of the potato filling on the top. Put a little bit more of chutney so that this chutney evenly spread around the egg. And do the same thing with the remaining part of the potato. Just flatten it up and then put it on top of the chutney, and then just shape the entire thing to look like an egg, an oval shape. Just seal up all the parts where the chutney can be seen with the potato. And keep them aside. Now some tips I'd like to share with you here is what you can do is boil your potatoes. If you're going to make these egg chops, boil them. Suppose you're going to make the egg chops in the evening. So boil the potatoes and completely cool them in your refrigerator in the morning itself. Same with the eggs also. Before you peel the eggs, see that they're completely, cool down, and so that you get the typical hard boiled egg and it doesn't become runny and you don't get the soft boiled egg. So you can prep all your stuff and then just assemble everything. Even the chutney, you can prepare it in the morning and keep it. So it's, even if you keep it in the refrigerator, it's much easier to handle. So if you prep up everything, then you just have to assemble all of this, just dip it into some corn slurry and fry it. This is a super simple recipe to prepare when your family members are hungry or when you're hungry, and it makes an awesome snack. Now with 2 eggs, I got exactly 4 egg chops. So depending on how many egg chops you require, you can do the math. And like for 2 egg chops, you require 1 egg. So you know how to calculate, guys. And I also have a recipe of how to make homemade breadcrumbs from leftover sides of the bread slices. So you can watch that at the end of the video. So if you don't have breadcrumbs at home, but if you have some bread slices, or if you have retained the sides of the bread slices, then there's an easy recipe of how you can make your own breadcrumbs. You can watch the video. It's at the end of this video. And now I'm just going to fry it. I'm not adding too much of oil. I'm not deep frying it, but just a little bit of oil, just so the outside of the egg chop becomes nice and golden brown, because everything else is actually cooked. So we don't really need to deep fry this. So even if you fry it a little bit more than, a little more oil than you would with shallow frying, that serves the purpose. So we're just looking for that lovely golden brown color. We don't want a very dark color, just a light golden brown color like this. And it's as simple as that. And then once you're done with frying, just drain the excess oil on a kitchen napkin or a kitchen towel. And then you can just cut the egg chop into half and serve it with some lovely tomato ketchup or some chutney. And as you can see, it's nice and golden brown in color. And drain out the excess oil. And then once you cut it up, you'll see how beautifully the chutney and the egg, the chutney has, coated the egg right round, and it's just a superb and delicious snack to have. So to make the bread crumbs out of the leftover bread sides, what I've done is I've just roasted all the bread sides that I've collected till nice and crispy. And then once they cool to room temperature, I'm just going to grind them to a very fine powder. And then once it's completely cool, I'm going to transfer it to a glass jar and I'm going to store it. And this lasts for almost a month if stored in a... Now friends, we'll take about 2 of the overripe bananas and we are going to mash them up with a fork till they become a nice smooth consistency. It's very easy to mash it up because bananas are nice and soft. See that there are no lumps left. Now once our bananas have got nicely mashed up, like this, they come to a consistency like this, we are now going to add our other ingredients. First we're going to add some icing sugar. So I'm adding about 1 tablespoon. If you want, you can add more or you can add less. Now mix this icing sugar well into the banana. Now we are going to use a little bit of vanilla essence, about half a teaspoon. Next, we're going to add a pinch of baking powder. This gives the filos or the banana fritters a very nice, fluffy, crispy texture, and it rises up a little too. Again, we're going to mix everything well. Now we're going to crack open an egg and add the egg to the mixture. And using a whisk, we are going to whisk it in well. Now you can either use whole wheat flour or you can use all-purpose flour or maida. Here I am using whole wheat flour, about a cup of it. You can even use the all-purpose flour or maida. Again, we're going to mix all of this very nicely. Everything has to get well incorporated. And then the last ingredient we have to add is some milk. The milk helps in giving this a nice smooth consistency, like a pancake batter. Our batter should not be too runny or it should not be too thick. It should be just right, like a normal pancake batter. And once our batter is ready, we're going to rest the batter for about 10 minutes. This is also very important because then everything gets well incorporated together. So we let the batter sit aside for a while. Now after 10 minutes, we will heat a pan on the gas top. I like using a non-stick pan. Now I'm going to just spread a little bit of ghee or clarified butter on my hot pan. You can also use regular butter. And we're going to take a small bit of the batter and just spread it out in the middle with a ladle. Then we're going to let it fry well. And once the borders or the edges of the pancake turn to a nice crispy golden brown, we can just flip the pancake to the other side. So once our pancake edges are golden brown, we are going to just turn it over and then fry the other side till it is nice and crispy and golden brown too. These pancakes are a real tasty delight. You can have it for breakfast too or for tea time in the evening. It really is very delicious. So friends, here we have some boiled and shredded chicken. I've taken about 125 grams, boiled it, and when it cools down, I have shredded it. Then we require some slices of cucumber, some shredded lettuce, some slices of tomatoes, some bread slices, some cheese slices. Now in the bread, you can use white or brown. Then we require some salt, some butter, some mayonnaise, and some pepper powder. So in a large bowl, I'm taking the boiled and shredded chicken. To this, I am going to be adding some mayonnaise. So I'm going to be adding some 5 to 6 heaped tablespoons of mayonnaise. You can use either the eggless one or the one with the egg, depending on what you like. Then we're going to add some seasoning. So I'm going to be adding 1.5 teaspoon of pepper powder and some salt for taste. Give all of this a very good mix till everything is well incorporated together. And now we're going to add about 1 cup of lettuce, which I've shredded. Now you can use either the romaine lettuce leaves or the iceberg lettuce leaves. It's up to you what you like and regularly use in your salads and sandwiches. So put in some lettuce, which you've got to shred. Mix all of this extremely well. Now you have to heat up a pan. Now if you have this type of a grilled pan, it really gives a very good effect and the sandwich really looks very presentable and delicious. So just butter the bread on one side. Now like I said, you can use brown bread, you can use whole wheat bread, you can use white bread, whatever you like, and just butter it up on one side. And see that your grilled pan or your regular pan is nice and hot on a low to medium flame, and then we're just going to place the pieces of bread till they have a nice grilled effect on both sides. Now we're going to start assembling our sandwiches. Now for each sandwich, we're going to use 3 of these grilled breads. So take your 3 slices of grilled bread. Now to one of the slices, which is going to be the base, we're going to add this chicken paste which we have prepared, or this chicken mix, that is lettuce, chicken, mayo, salt and pepper. We're going to evenly apply this to the first slice of grilled bread. See that it gets evenly spread to all over the bread. Then we're going to cover it with one of the slices of the bread. Then we're going to place about 4 pieces or 4 slices of cucumber, 2 slices of tomato. Now, if you don't like tomato, you can drop the tomato. Just use the cucumber. Then we're going to put 1 slice of cheese. You can use any type of cheese that you like, and then place the third one. And then we're just going to cut it into 2 halves, and your club sandwich is all ready. So in this way, I've prepared 4 sandwiches out of 6 slices of bread, and it is simply delicious.